radar-accurate eyes survey the land. Slotted feathers adjust flight paths. As falcons attack, pelicans soar. Kestrels hover. Owls silently fly. Parrots flock. Vultures swarm. And eagles swoop. Which is the true master of the sky? Masters of all they survey, the dynamic raptors are magnificent birds of prey. Revered for over 2,000 years as a symbol of speed and power, the peregrine falcon was a favorite with Egyptian and Chinese falconers. With long yellow legs, large black-clawed feet, and supremely powerful vision, the bird-hunting peregrine strikes fear in the skies. Waiting for its moment, the falcon takes off in low, fast flight. The peregrine is capable of taking birds much larger and stronger than itself, even up to the size of a heron. But for an average meal, the feral pigeon is a firm favorite. Although appearing similar in size, pigeons are around half the weight of the peregrine. In level flight, the sturdy pigeon may occasionally outfly the peregrine, but the falcon is a formidable hunter, and the pigeon is far from safe. The pigeon may be fast, but the peregrine falcon is the fastest animal on Earth. Flying at a great height, the peregrine goes into a stoop, a high-speed dive that can reach over 300 kilometers per hour. At this point, the pigeon's fate is sealed. Such active hunting techniques produce high energy needs, and the peregrine is an aggressive and highly adept aerial hunter. Almost 3 times faster than a cheetah, the peregrine falcon is a true master of the sky. When these petite, brightly colored budgies take to the air above the arid lands of Australia, they color the skies green and yellow. A budgie's pointed wingspan, around 30 centimeters, carry these small ground-feeding parrots to their daily food and water. Highly scheduled in their drinking habits, budgies drink 5.5% of their 30-gram body weight every day. Huge flocks gather around the waterholes of the Australian outback. But the budgies are not alone. For the bite-sized budgie, danger lurks overhead as fast-flying raptors survey the scene. In flocks packly tight with thousands of birds, budgies are afforded some safety in numbers as they wield and change direction as a single mass. But falcons and kites are natural-born bird hunters, and a single bird of prey can change the course of a flock of thousands. The long, pointed wings of the black falcon mark the presence of this sleek, fierce aerial hunter. Hunting either by a stoop from on high or by direct attack and vigorous chase. The black falcon has even been known to rob other raptors of their kill. The bird hunter brings chaos to the budgie-filled skies. Their large wing area affords them prolonged soaring time, and hunting on the wing means these attackers can follow through post-impact, lessening the blow they must absorb. For the dainty budgie, these birds can mean the end. The black falcon rears its chicks in the large stick nests of another bird, the male bringing food to his young held high in the treetop nursery. This unfortunate budgie will bring strength and nutrition to the growing raptors. At around 6 weeks of age, these chicks will have taken on the darker color of their parents and will be grown enough to take the first flight on wings that will allow them to rule the skies. Some animals inspire awe and respect by their presence alone. The wedge-tailed eagle, the largest bird of prey in Australia, is one such animal. The emblem of the Air Forces, police forces, and wildlife services, the wedge-tailed eagle is the ultimate symbol of strength, power, and freedom. Preferring wooded and forested land and open country, wedge-tailed eagles soar from low flight to 2 kilometers high on outstretched wings that span over 2.5 meters. For prominent perches, they scan the countryside with sophisticated binocular vision. The bony rings that surround the eyes can squeeze and elongate the eyeball, acting like a telephoto lens, enlarging the image they see. With precise distance measurement, they pinpoint their prey. Long slotted flight feathers on immensely powerful wings carry the 4-kilogram eagle low over land. Its ability to soar close to the ground make it a supreme hunter of small ground-dwelling mammals. Both hunter and carrion eater, the wedge-tailed eagle can spend over an hour airborne, searching the land below. Territorial birds, they have been known to attack hang gliders and parachutists that have come too close to their nests. Capable of carrying half their body weight in grasping talons, prey is often found by slow quartering flight as they fly between 10 and 20 meters above the ground. Unless there are chicks to be fed back at the nest, the kill is usually eaten where it is captured, immense hooked bills tearing through flesh. Rabbits are a firm favorite of these most magnificent of birds. These graceful formation flying birds that soar on thermals high above the ground are some of the largest and most engaging of all the water birds. Pelican species range in color from the aptly named brown pelican of the Americas through the shades of mottled gray to the distinctive black and white plumage of the Australian pelican. Widespread over freshwater, estuarine, and marine wetlands and waterways, Australian pelicans are large social creatures. distinctive bills and rotund bodies setting them aside from other water birds. Making their movement rather heavy on land, their webbed feet make pelicans superb swimmers, perfectly adapted for their aquatic lifestyle. Yet when these huge birds take themselves to the skies in great flocks, they become powerful and elegant flyers. Australian pelicans can stand between 1 and 2 meters tall with yellow ringed eyes that stare out of white feathered faces. Yet it is their pink bill that is truly remarkable. The longest bill of any living bird, the bill of the Australian pelican with its hooked tip can reach 47 centimeters in length. Huge distendable pouches on the lower mandibles act like a net and scoop up vast quantities of fish. Newly hatched naked chicks feed on regurgitated food. They will get their feathers at around 8 weeks of age and will attempt their first flight at about 3 months. By the time this chick is fully grown, it will eat just under 10 kilograms of fish every day. Pelicans are gregarious animals, living in large colonies and sharing their habitat with many other birds that take advantage of the water's edge and everything that it has to offer. When it comes to wing size, the pelican dwarfs its fellow water birds, having a wingspan that rivals that of the wedge-tailed eagle. On the other side of the world, the brown pelican of the Americas, the smallest of the pelican family, takes advantage of the rising warm air, soaring on thermals as they travel over the oceans. Unlike other pelicans, the brown pelican is an expert diver, plunging gannet-like to retrieve deep swimming fish, master of both water and air. Of the 8,500 species of birds in the world, just under 300 of them are seabirds, ranging from those that are migratory and dispersive to those that are rarely seen away from their breeding colonies. The long-winged birds that live a life of sea and air are truly free. A member of the gregarious gannet family, the masked booby breeds on islands in tropical oceans. Nesting close to clear, deep water, these incredible divers can fish 12 meters below the surface, chasing after fish and squid on which they and their chicks depend. Masked boobies, in most cases, lay 2 eggs with several days in between each. The elder chick ejects the younger from the nest, increasing its own chances of survival as it depends on the expert foraging skills of its parents for its first few months of life. Unlike the masked booby, the sooty tern is one of the elite bird species that can hover. To do so, they need to be facing into the wind, which then flows over the airfoil of their wings, giving them enough lift to hover for a few precious seconds. Breeding is one of the few times these migratory birds come to land for any real length of time. In jerky courtship displays, Mates circle around each other with slightly dropped wings, calling softly with their bills pointing downwards. Noisy birds. A breeding colony is seldom, if ever, quiet, as the incessant high-pitched calls sound out. The reason for the sooty tern's other name, the wide awake. These impressive birds can stay at sea for phenomenally long periods of time. From fledgling until they first come back to nest, 4 or 5 years later they will seldom touch land. To help them do this, they have an incredible ability to take 1 or 2 second micronaps while flying. While at sea, they feed on the fish driven up to the surface by tuna and other underwater predators. These amazing terns really are true birds of the sea. Guardian of the forest, keeper of wisdom, and soul behind all-seeing eyes, barn owls evoke an eerie respect from all those who encounter them. Nocturnal hunters, these mystical birds have taken stealth hunting to a degree beyond all others. Flying between trees on dark nights, the owl's success is its silence. Hunting in darkness, it relies on superb hearing to locate the small ground mammals it seeks. Its approach must be completely without sound. Huge wings give highly controlled flight, as its heart-shaped face directs the tiny noises given off by potential prey to its inner ear. Soft, fringed feathers on long, wide wings reduce the loud turbulence of flight, while their velvety surface reduces any friction noise between feathers. With silent precision, the barn owl hunts in the darkest of forest nights. Constantly scanning the open plains of Africa are the highly tuned eyes of the famous birds that clean up these savannas. Vultures in full flight present an elegant sight, soaring on powerful wings, eyes trained on the land below, some flocking together, others taking a more solitary path. Famed carrion eaters, vultures spend hours aloft on thermals, soaring on air currents as they scan the landscape for signs of food. Exploiting columns of warm air that rise up over 1,500 meters, vultures have been known to travel 75 kilometers using a mere half dozen of these thermals. Healthy living animals need not fear the vulture. These powerful birds are carrion specialists, with different vultures having different roles and specializations. Lappet-faced vultures tend to be more solitary birds than the smaller white-backed vultures that tend to flock. In the vulture world, many eyes make light work, as feeding groups attract the attention of others from several kilometers away, who quickly join the feeding site. It can take just moments before a carcass is covered in a feathered frenzy. there are others that keep a watchful eye on proceedings. Smaller whiteback vultures, the most common of the African vultures, cannot rip through hide, but specialize on the soft muscle, organ tissue, and bone fragments of the feast, while powerful lappet-faced vultures tear through the knotty muscle and hide of mammals. Even more animals are drawn to join in. Although hunting much more of their food than they scavenge, the hyena is an expert opportunist and will be unlikely to overlook a beckoning meal. With massively powerful jaws, the hyena's ability to tear through meat, hide, and bone surpasses that of even the largest of these aerial carnivores. Vultures tend to give way to mammalian competition. Among themselves, occasional conflicts over hierarchy break out. As hippo, elephant, and rhino die, wildebeest and zebra drown during their annual migrations, and nature takes its toll on the large mammals of the plain. Its scavengers, both of land and air, ensure that nothing goes to waste. Over the open landscapes of Australia flies its smallest falcon, the long-tailed, long-winged, inquisitive Nankeen kestrel. Not much over 30 centimeters long and weighing under 300 grams, this delicate kestrel is a master of making itself at home, breeding on cliffs, on the ledges of buildings, and in the hollows of trees. The success of this little bird of prey is due in part to its ability to tolerate and thrive in a range of habitats and on a range of foods. Unlike other falcons, the kestrel does not rely on the incredible speeds reached by its peregrine cousin. This little falcon uses another hunting method. It can hover. Rapid wing beats combined with a rudder-like fan tail keep its head and body still. Selecting its prey from its aerial vantage point, the kestrel drops nearer to the ground until it is close enough to pounce. Small mammals, crickets, spiders, and grasshoppers are all fair game. While some insects and smaller birds are plucked out mid-air, most of the kestrel's prey is firmly on the ground. Usually breeding every year, Nankeen kestrels often mate for life, their chicks ready to leave the nest at just a month old. At first, they will follow their parents, flying to them and taking food at a perch. After 2 more months, they are ready to fend for themselves and begin the life of a bird on the wing. The hovering kestrel, the magnificent pelican, and the soaring seabirds, darting budgies, and the resplendent owls on silent wings. Falcons that fly faster than the turn of a head, eagles that carry off young wallabies, vultures that clean the African plains, Which is the true... The colossal elephant, the intimidating birds, the barrel-like hippo, the towering giraffe, the gigantic whale. Which is the biggest of them all? The lush tropical forests of Asia hold within them some of nature's mightiest creatures. Each of these silent footsteps carries with it the immense weight of the world's largest land mammal. Standing at over 3 meters high with a body 6 meters long and tusks that are longer than most humans stand, weighing in at over 5 tons, the power and majesty of the elephant is undeniable. In the Hindu religion, the elephant-headed Ganesh is worshipped as the deity of intellect and wisdom and the sacred remover of obstacles. It is commonly believed that a goddess created Ganesh in order to guard her privacy. Asian elephants are extremely social and live in matriarchal family groups. Most of their time is spent eating. Their average daily intake is 150 to 200 kilograms of leaves, roots, barks, and shrubs. The trunk of the elephant is an amazing multi-purpose tool. Formed by the fusion of its nose and upper lip, it contains a complex network of 150,000 muscles, giving it phenomenal flexibility. Preferring scrub forest and areas with shade, the range of most Asian elephants doesn't often exceed more than 50 square kilometers, although they will migrate with the seasons. With small eyes and poorer than average eyesight, elephants rely much more on their sense of smell and hearing. The tough, wrinkled skin on their backs and sides is between 2 to 3 centimeters thick and is highly sensitive. Elephants need to take regular mud baths to insulate themselves from burning and moisture loss. With trunks that can hold 10 liters of water, these baths can be a chore as well as a pleasure. But without taking them regularly, their skin can suffer serious damage. Constant flapping of their huge ears ventilates the fine network of capillaries that run just beneath their paper-thin skin, adding to the overall cooling effect of bath time. The long, slender tusks of a male elephant can reach 2 meters in length. It has been found that elephants tend to either be right or left-tusked, much in the same way humans are right or left-handed, with one tusk showing definite wear with age. After they reach sexual maturity, adult males enter a period called musth. At these times, their testosterone levels skyrocket and they are prone to extreme aggression. As these colossal bodies collide, huge feet that rest on pads of shock-absorbent tissue try to stand firm against the phenomenal pushing force of their opponent. Although serious fights are rare, sparring with tusks of these proportions can never be taken lightly, and these behemoths will battle it out. The sweeping plains of Africa are home to... Their very wrinkled skin gives them more surface area from which they can lose heat in the baking temperatures. And they also trap moisture, which then takes longer to evaporate. To keep these massive bodies cool, these enormous animals need around 80 liters of water a day, although some can consume double that amount. An adult male can drink more than 200 liters of water in less than 5 minutes. Using their supersensory trunk to smell, elephants pass scent particles to a specialized organ on the roof of their mouths, often raising their trunks in the air to get an advance warning of any danger. Flapping its immense ears as it travels, African elephants' ears are twice the size of Asian elephants and are also used as a threat warning. Elephants communicate with deep rumbles at frequencies too low for human ears to detect. These rumbles and foot stompings can create seismic waves that travel over 20 kilometers and can be used as a form of communication. With a reach of 7 meters, the 3.5-meter trunk of an African elephant stretches higher than all but one of the other grazers of the savanna. The two so-called fingers at the tip of the trunk have the same dexterity as an octopus leg and can grip the most delicate of leaves. When not eating, this colossal beast, with its 52-kilogram skull and 20-kilo heart, nuzzles its fellow behemoths affectionately. Are these modern-day mammoths really the biggest animal on Earth? With soaring grace and aerial prowess, birds dominate our skies. To remain the undisputed pioneers of the air, most bird species are feather-light and relatively small. But the avian world is not without its giants. The largest birds in the world have sacrificed the power of flight and live with their feet firmly planted on the ground. The ostrich, the emu, and the prehistoric-looking cassowary. All three of these flightless big birds have evolved powerful legs with massive clawed toes. Uniquely, the ostrich has only 2 toes, an adaptation for high-speed running. Sprinting at 70 kilometers an hour, the ostrich is the fastest living bird on land. It is also the largest, standing at almost 3 meters and weighing in at 150 kilos. In spectacular courtship dances, males use their flightless wings as giant decorative fans, waving them as they throw their heads from side to side, as neck and thigh blush red. Keeping lookout with the largest eyeball in the animal kingdom, there is only one creature that can outrun this giant bird. The massive ostrich can move over the landscape with strides up to 5 meters long. A continent away, in the arid landscapes and coastal dunes of Australia, runs the emu, the second tallest bird in the world. The shaggy appearance of the emu disguises a brilliant design. Their heat-absorbing feathers and insulating inner plumage prevent heat flowing into their skin, allowing them to thrive even in the midday temperatures of the outback. Keen-eyed and curious, emus are known to follow and watch other animals. Although not as tall as the ostrich, the emu can reach nearly 2 meters and weigh over 50 kilograms. Their bodies fueled on a diet of plants, seeds, and insects. In the emu world, it's the males who look after the chicks, which for the first 3 months of their life are covered in camouflaging stripes. The chicks whistle gently as they forage. The whistling gets louder and more high-pitched if they lose sight of their ever-protective parent. They will stay with their father until they are fully grown. Among the ratites, the large flightless birds of the world, emus are not the only ones to provide all-male parental care. In the lush rainforests of tropical Australia lives the stocky, aggressive, and mighty cassowary. Shorter than the emu, but much heavier, the cassowary is the world's second weightiest bird. The 18-centimeter horn-like casque on top of its head adds to its bizarre and commanding appearance. Aggressive by nature and known to strike out with both immensely powerful legs, the cassowary has the power to disembowel. Their sharpened spike-like inner claw is 12 centimeters long. A diligent and protective parent, the male cassowary nurtures his chicks for between 9 and 18 months, teaching them the ways of the rainforest. This arrestingly magnificent bird is vital for the survival of the forest in which it lives. There are some rainforest fruits that only the cassowary is big enough to disperse, the seeds germinating more readily after passing through the bird. These mighty keepers of the forest walk as true giants amongst the birds. Lumbering across the land, the enormity of the barrel-like hippo is without question. Other grass eaters are frail by comparison. Its immense head leads its 5-meter body, and short, sturdy legs support its 3 tons. Due to their ill temper, half-meter tusks and enormous-sized adult hippos are often considered the most dangerous animals in Africa. They frequently brush aside crocodiles if they're in their way. Hippos are semi-aquatic animals, spending 18 hours a day submerged in the shallow, muddy waters of Africa's rivers and lakes. Despite being extremely thick, their skin is sensitive and needs to be kept moist. They produce a mucus that turns a pinky brown when exposed to the air, which acts as both a sunscreen and a moisturizer, and may even protect them against infection. Vigorously wagging their tails to scatter dung and urine, both on land and in the water, it is likely that the scent sprayed by hippos while doing this helps them to recognize one another. Certain birds will also recognize their favorite hippo. Tiny oxpeckers spend most of their life on their giant partners' backs, gorging themselves on the pests and parasites that torment their hosts. The colossal mouth of the male hippo houses the most lethal of weapons. These thick tusks can grow to half a meter and are kept sharp as they grind with the upper canines. The gape of the hippo's jaw stretches to a phenomenal 150 degrees and gives it one of the most powerful bite forces in the entire animal kingdom. Yawning and showing off tusks is a powerful threat display. But if threats don't work, these aquatic titans will stab at each other, rearing up, slashing and biting. Fights can be a 6-ton battle for the control of a section of river and the females within it. Weighing 40 to 45 kilos, mothers give birth to single calves that are born in the shallow waters. The female will have left the herd to give birth, and she and her meter-long newborn spend a week or two alone. By the time they join the group, they are firmly bonded and have a close and affectionate relationship. Although weaned at 12 months, by which time the young calf weighs a massive quarter of a ton, it will remain with its mother for several more years, and it's not uncommon to see a female with 2 or 3 offspring. In the physically close life of the river hippo, even young males are tolerated by the bull. Are these submerged barrels of power the biggest aquatic animals in the world? Standing taller than any other living animal in their towering majesty is the proud and elegant giraffe. With a grace of movement that defies its great height, adult giraffes stand 6 meters tall, and their legs are higher than an average man. A fully grown male weighs in at over 1,600 kilos. The unique appearance and peaceful nature of the giraffe has captivated humans for centuries. The national emblem of Tanzania, the giraffe, represents visionary qualities and an ability to see life from all angles. With their giant legs moving in full stride, giraffes can gallop at phenomenal speeds, relying on the forward and backward motion of their undulating necks to keep them balanced. A giraffe's markings are unique, and while the color of its patches may vary slightly throughout its life, the pattern remains constant. When fully grown, this elongated animal is tall enough to peer through the window of a second-story building. Its endearing face is dominated by outrageously long eyelashes and huge eyes that are always on the lookout for danger. Lions hunting in packs are the only predators capable of taking down a large giraffe. Their presence always instills fear. Individual giraffes come and go freely from the open herds that these social animals live in, scattering vastly across the plains, peaceful occupants of all they see. The giraffe's lofty vantage point makes it a useful sentinel for other animals of the plains. Drinking for a giraffe is tricky business. Despite its colossal proportions, its neck is still too short to reach the ground, and it must splay its elegant legs to reach down and drink. Another animal keeps a watchful eye while they are in this vulnerable position. Dueling males evaluate each other's strength by intertwining their mighty necks and leaning against one another. When a fight ensues, they swing their huge necks, aiming head and horns at their rival. With each landing blow, thuds echo across the plains. Once resolved, life on the savannah resumes for these otherwise peaceful giants. Could the towering height of this most elegant of beasts make it the biggest animal on Earth? The mighty whale graces our oceans with a size and strength unrivaled on land. 3 times longer than the tallest giraffe and weighing more than a dozen hippos. The beautiful humpback whale is most famed for its mystical and haunting song. Historically, whales have been hunted with harpoons for their meat, blubber, and bone. The humpback population was drastically depleted. Following the massive decline in their numbers, many species are now protected. One of them, the blue whale, is the biggest animal alive. The largest animal known to have lived at any time in the history of our planet, this gigantic creature can be over 30 meters long and lives entirely on tiny plankton. When they surface for a breath, they expel air through a blowhole that is the size of a small child before their 200-ton body glides gracefully back under the sea. Swimming in an incredible 20 knots, the tail of these majestic creatures can be over 7 meters wide. Under the surface of the water, the ghost-like form of these incomparable shimmering mammals is powered by a heart the size of a car, sending out a beat that can be detected from over 3 kilometers away. These incredible blue whales really are the true giants of our world. Gliding through the tropical and temperate waters of our oceans is another remarkable creature, the undisputed biggest fish in the sea, the whale shark. Averaging around 12 meters, many believe they can reach up to 20. These enormous animals are filter feeders and fuel themselves on tiny organisms like krill, larvae, and small fish. Usually solitary animals, they gather together when rich feeding is available in some part of the world. They have even learned to make the best of the local fishing trade. Taking in huge amounts of quarry-filled water into their cavernous mouths, they then expel the water through their gills, which act like a fine sieve. Anything over 2 to 3 centimeters is trapped. With mouths that are over 1 meter wide, they can process more than 6,000 liters of water per hour. Their sublime grace in the water is one of slow, powerful movement. The white spots and lines that decorate their magnificent blue-gray bodies mimic the dappled sunlight that comes through the surface of the ocean and makes them less conspicuous in the water. The pattern of spots each animal has is unique and can be used to help identify these peaceful giants. Despite having 3,000 tiny teeth in their spectacular mouths, whale sharks neither bite nor chew. It is incredible to believe that this beautiful colossus started its life as a 60-centimeter pup. The tusked elephant, the powerful birds, the enormous hippo, the lofty giraffe, the gigantic whale, which is the mightiest of all. Camouflage cats, hidden lizards, cryptic snakes, shimmering cuttlefish, and concealed chameleons, birds that blend, or invisible spiders. Which is the master of disguise? Some animals will never be inconspicuous. Others blend so perfectly with their surroundings that they can move through them without detection. For many of the cats of Africa, camouflage is key to survival. From the spots of a cheetah, the rosettes of the leopard, and the stripes and dots of the serval, these cats have evolved to merge with their habitat. The outline of an animal, no matter its size, is an easy one to distinguish. Yet if its basic outline is broken, their form is much harder to detect. With markings breaking up any readily identifiable shape, and a coat, the color of the grasslands in which it lives, the sleek serval walks semi-unseen. But it's not all about hiding. The black and white false eye spots on the back of the cat's ears may serve quite a different purpose. These large eye spots may well make the cat appear bigger and more watchful to any potential predators that may be tempted to attack it from the rear. These same enormous ears also afford the serval cat highly sensitive hearing. Preying on low-flying birds, as well as the small animals at its feet, it is able to hunt by sound alone until it gets close to the quarry to pounce. Other cryptic cats have far larger prey in mind. Arguably, the king of camouflage, the leopard blends with the branches of the treetop vantage point. Everything about the muscular leopard appears to have evolved for camouflage and stealth. With eyes the color of leaves, and the dark pigmentation of their rosettes merging with the bark of trees, when this predator does come to the ground, it moves in silence and can approach to within meters of its unsuspecting prey. Leopards vary in their coloration and marking. Those living in grasslands and more open areas have a light yellow background coat, whereas those in more forested areas will tend to be darker with more markings. On most individuals, the rosettes turn to solid spots on both the face and limbs. Leopards are phenomenally strong for their size. A male can drag a carcass 3 times its own weight, 6 meters up a tree. Food is often stored here for a later date. The mottled pattern of its markings beautifully conceal this magnificent animal both against the dappled sunlight of the grass and against the broken shadows of the rocky outcrops. Most of the time, this lethal hunter is utterly concealed from its potential prey. Unlike the leopard, the cheetah does not spend its days in trees and is not a good climber. It does, though, blend equally well with its savanna habitat. Enabling it to get within sprinting distance of its prey, The cheetah's camouflaging spots conceal it in the long grass. Each of the hundreds of solid black dots break up the identifying form of this hunter. For the plains animals of Africa, predators lurk, unseen amongst them. Feeding on these harvester ants is a beautiful adapted predator, the regal horned lizard. Merging perfectly with their surroundings, these small reptiles live in the rocky, gravelly, desert-like habitats of Arizona, where they make a living almost exclusively on ants. Prey is scarce enough in the desert, but when 90% of your diet is made up of one species of ant, it takes a lot of time and effort to get your fill and avoid becoming prey yourself. The coloration of these 11-centimeter lizards is well matched to the dry soils and rocks that surround them, but that's not their only camouflage. Experts at remaining motionless, the spines and fringes of their scales lessen their sharp outline and decrease the shadow they cast. Should the hawks, snakes, and coyotes that hunt these horned lizards manage to find them, they have another trick up their sleeve. They can squirt blood from their eyes. Its foul taste is a serious deterrent. A continent away, its distant relative, the thorny devil, has its own ways of hiding in the red deserts of Australia's outback. This multicolored, spiked, patchworked little lizard eats nothing but the ants that scurry across this desolate landscape, sometimes finding thousands to eat in one sitting and plucking them off one at a time. The thorny devil does more than just look incredible. It can change color according to the type of soil it's crossing, its yellow, orange, brown, red, and white tones altering accordingly. With a bulbous lump of fat on the back of its neck acting as a false head to mislead predators, the thorny devil really is a master of disguise. In the leaf litter of Australia's woodlands and scrubs hides one of its most cryptic and dangerous snakes, the death adder. The camouflaging patterns of snakes are mesmerizing. From the pearly multicolored sheen of the carpet python to the mottled bands of the death adder, snakes can be hidden right before our eyes. Unlike many other snakes that will stalk their prey, the death adder is a resolute ambush predator. With muted fleck bands that range from reddish-brown to gray, this stocky snake relies utterly on its camouflage to conceal it from passing in unsuspecting victims. The arrow-shaped head of the death adder leads a thick-set body that seldom reaches a meter in length. Its scales are a perfect match for the browns, tans, and beiges of the fallen leaves and twigs of the undergrowth. With a form that can pass by rocks and through foliage with barely making a sound, for ambush predators, silence and patience are key. These snakes can lie in wait for hours, even days, waiting for the right-sized meal to pass by. When it does, they are quick to strike. They cannot afford to miss the moment. Death adders can help tip the balance in their favor by using their tail as a lure. The creamy tapered end tempting and curious passers-by much closer than they know to the potential jaws of death. Who knows if this mouse knows just how close it is? In the hidden world of camouflage predator, there is always something hiding in plain view. Carpet pythons, the age-old nemesis of the scrub turkey, spend many an hour watching from their branched lookouts. These spectacular pythons are found from the tropical rainforests of northeast Australia to its coastal and arid regions. Their color patterns are massively varied. Those from different habitats tend to have their own unique coloration. For this individual, its green-brown markings blend almost seamlessly with the mosses and lichen of the trees it moves through. One of the larger snakes in Australia, carpet pythons can reach over 3.5 meters in length. The mound of the scrub turkey is its castle and home to its incubating eggs. The python and the turkey have been battling it out through evolutionary time. The python ever perfecting its camouflage and stealth, while the turkey ever perfects its defensive strategies. Despite the hidden and silent approach of the hunting snake, the vigilant turkey's attack was enough, and the python coils its unhurried retreat, merging back with the emeralds and greens of the forest. Many animals can hide, and many can disguise themselves to some degree, but few can rival the camouflaging capabilities of the magnificent cuttlefish. Cuttlefish can not only change color, they can also change their shape as well as their texture as they morph through seamless variations of themselves. These amazing mollusks with outwardly smooth skin can alter their texture by furrowing themselves into complex folds and ridges. Simultaneously taking on a blotched pattern, they are indistinguishable from the microhabitat they have chosen to settle on. A mere few meters away, a completely different disguise may be in order. The surface of the cuttlefish's skin can expand by 500%, but rather than lose any richness of color in this massive stretch, they can modulate for this expansion by being their own active light emitters. Gentle undulations of their lateral fins move these animals through the water as they morph their way over the ocean floor, sometimes appearing textured and almost translucent, other times a solid black of color, and others monster-like in the safety of a crevice. Rapid and graceful changes in color and form are often enough to foil predators. But if they don't work, the cuttlefish has another mask in its armor. The smokescreen that is created by the ink distracts any would-be predator, leaving them searching for a long-gone invisible prey. The iridescent cuttlefish can appear and disappear before our very eyes. Making camouflage an art form are the verdant, sauntering, highly distinctive chameleons that make their homes in rainforests, grasses, trees, and bushes. There are well over 100 species of chameleons around today, ranging from the tiny pygmy chameleon to the prehistoric-looking horned chameleon. Most are found in Africa and Madagascar. Testament to the simple principle of camouflage by matching body color to environment, these little reptiles render themselves inconspicuous. Their tongues are like a tethered projectile, able to shoot out 1.5 times their body length. These sticky-ended probes are estimated to reach their target in 7/100ths of a second. The flecked, dotted, and patchy markings of a chameleon's skin serve to break up their outline and distort the symmetry of their body form. Moving slowly and gently, the disturbance they bring to the leaves is minimal. Prehensile tails help them grip, while incredible eyes provide a 360-degree view of the world. The upper and lower eyelids are joined, leaving just the smallest of holes for the pupil to gaze out from. Able to rotate and focus each eye separately, the chameleon can observe 2 objects simultaneously. Not only does this help the chameleon locate its own prey with pinpoint accuracy, it also helps with its own overall camouflage. The tongues of these insectivorous reptiles have an elastic recoil mechanism, which is much less thermally sensitive than the rest of the lizard. This means that even when cold and sluggish, the ectothermic chameleon can still catch its prey. Famed for their ability to change color, chameleons, already beautifully camouflaged for their environment, actually use color change for more social signaling, a visual mark of mood and status, as well as an indicator of territoriality. Darker spots and brighter colors are often shown when angered or fearful. Color changes can happen fast, brought on by the expansions and contractions of specialized pigment cells in the different layers of their incredible skin. In the frozen climes of the Northern Hemisphere winter, targamins blend against their snowy surroundings. The brown-black plumage that better masked them against the summer tundra has given way to their winter covering of almost pure white. Only their eye patch and tail feathers remain black, as their plump bodies take on the camouflaging white feathers of winter, concealing them as they forage on the snow-covered grounds of their home. These ground-feeding birds rummage in the snow for willow buds and twigs, their feathered legs and feet serving as avian snowshoes. Female ptarmigans will molt directly from their winter whites to summer browns. Males, on the other hand, with the red wattle over their eyes, have a transitional plumage as they make the move between summer and winter. The feather changes of these Arctic avians are just one way birds can disguise themselves while out in the open. The bushstone curlew of Australia adapts another tactic. Along with its cryptic coloration, the art of staying incredibly still has been mastered by this delicate-looking bird. Found throughout much of Australia, the curlew prefers open woodland and is often found near some of the country's other iconic birds. Usually active at night, the dappled curlew spends its day standing quietly in the shade, merging with the leaf litter it stands on. This uncanny ability to stay almost entirely motionless has led to living birds being mistaken for statues. There is one tiny creature that has evolved a camouflage that is so perfect in its simplicity, it is often overlooked by the casual human observer. Crab spiders. Adapted to their hunting terrain, the crab spiders that are found on the bark and leaves are darker in coloration than those found on flowers. Butterflies, honeybees, and beetles are common prey for the sit-and-wait predatory tactic of the crab spider, as they come to feed on the very flowers that hold their enemy. The spider's sturdy front legs are held to the side in readiness to strike. The free-roving crab spider, also known as the flower spider, is not a web builder, but instead relies on its fabulous camouflage and talent for remaining still, sometimes spending days, even weeks, in the same spot. In its search for nectar, the butterfly is seemingly oblivious to the spider's invisible presence. Once caught in its pincer-like front legs, a bite on the head delivers a fast-acting venom that subdues the butterfly. The venom and digestive juices work together to liquefy the internal tissues, and the victim is sucked dry. Which has the best camouflage of all? Is it the spotted cats, the earth-colored lizard, the leaf-colored snakes, the shimmering cuttlefish, or the ever-changing chameleon, blended birds, or even the invisible spider?